as well. So if competing is what gets me to 64, like I'm all about that as well. So it's all on the line on Sunday. I don't usually love the drama, but in this case I love the drama.
Well, we all love it.
Are you surprised to be that nervous?
Yeah, I called Russ. He'll be here tomorrow, my husband, my coach. And I was like, I don't know why I'm freaking out. I tried to nap, I couldn't, my heart just wouldn't stop pounding. And I just think I've never put myself in this situation before to say like, I want this. I'm okay if I don't get it, but I want this and I believe that I can do it and I have to do it right now. It's really what I wanted to manufacture. It's how I did really well at the end of 2022, having those limited opportunities. But it's just it's a different scenario. If I do it, I'm one of the best in the world. Like I was just going kind of moment by moment at the end of 2022, so this is a little bit different perspective, but it's all the same technique, and that's what I need to maintain for myself.
Kara, can you explain why you decided to come back?
For fun. I can't believe the miracle of 2022 still. It was so fun. And Russ and I have talked a lot about, even for his career, like what would it have meant to back off the training a little bit in your older years, like trust the 20 years of work that you put in and tap into intensity sometimes with better technical understanding. So like last year, kind of all year, we were like, that would be fun, but just kind of kicking around the idea. And I was kind of miserable in retirement for a lot of different reasons that I won't get into because that would take a long time. But the choice to return and the choice to really test if I did understand that technique has been really fun and not something that I framed sports as a younger athlete. So I was talking to some of them about that. Like it doesn't feel like a choice when you've been doing it since you were 16. Now it feels like I'm 38. Like some of those girls were not born when I competed in 2004 at Olympic trials. That's insane. And I'm totally fine with that. Like it really inspires me to be around them and to see kind of the world through their eyes. Like to watch them PB at Olympic trials, I never did that. Like that's super cool and I still get to be a part of it. And there's no shame in being an older athlete and just trying. So it's just satisfying curiosity is what brought me back. Can I do it? Cool. If I can't, I've been not number one in the world many times before, so I'm completely at peace with that reality too.
Do you think you're the only credentialed media member that's competing?
I don't know. You guys will have to do that research for me. But Tracktown USA has been super fun to tell everybody else's stories. Karen was checking in with me to say, like, how are you doing? Are you stressed? Like, what's going on? And I have really, really loved this year being involved in track and field in a lot of different ways that aren't athlete and exploring that kind of on my own before coming back here. So it just feels very normal to get out of my own head and tell everybody else's stories while I am continuing to write my own chapter kind of on the sidelines. It's been really fun.
What did you learn about yourself right now?
What did I learn about myself by telling other people's stories? That I love to tell other people's stories. That was my favorite part of my job at Parity. I got to help athletes like represent brands in really authentic ways and give them feedback on how they can be great brand ambassadors even if nobody's ever heard of them before. Like telling a brand about a woman athlete that they've never heard of and them saying, why haven't I ever heard that story before, is something that's super important to me. So the opportunity to do that for throwers with an excellent organization like Tracktown USA has been super fun.
I have an awful week path on, but you've been traveling with your equipment for your whole life. Do you have any fantastic stories about the difficulties of that?
It was
getting lost.
You know, when luckily I've never had a javelin get broken in transit. I hadn't traveled with javelins for a really long time, and when I competed in New York earlier this month, I went to my parents' house in Vancouver, Washington first. So I went Portland, Newark, and then LaGuardia to O'Hare. But Ari took my javelins from LaGuardia back to Denver, so like I did this like entire Nashville tour with javelins. And for the first time ever, people in the airport said, "Oh, are those javelins?" And it was super cool because I was like, why in fact they are. Thank you for asking. It had never happened to me before. It's always, are those pole vaults? Or like, if you say javelin, they think you're a discus thrower anyway. Like, it's just really interesting. So to have people correctly identify them was a really novel experience.
Have they ever not shown up?
Yeah.
Been damaged?
2010 Monaco. Again, luckily never been damaged. 2010 in Monaco, they made it on the plane, but I was like told to put them somewhere in the hotel where they didn't show up to the competition. I got second, like I threw really well, but then I couldn't find them after, and they just like miraculously met me at the airport right before I had to check in for my flight. So that's kind of the closest call I've ever had, but yeah.
That's pretty good.
2022, they didn't make it to Poland, and then I didn't see them again for like 3 weeks. So that was an adventure, but that's like the scariest.
So you throw a different.
Yeah, and I have a
How does
lot.
that work?
I had a lot of them. I actually have gotten rid of many of them because I believed myself when I retired as well. Yeah, but I had extra money.
When did you make the final decision you were going to compete?
About 2 weeks before New York City. Again, it's just been a really personal, like fun exercise in testing the technique. Like, do I understand it? Can I repeat it on my own with no one watching? And it's just been harder to maintain that focus with everybody watching. So I knew that I was in shape. I didn't know if I wanted to prove that to other people. And it's been really fun. Like, it already feels like a huge success. Like 63.22 at New York, 63.01 today. I know I have 64 in me, but just to like prove myself right, that the technical understanding is there, and use that. I have a camp at Colorado State next weekend. Gonna fly back, rent a car, get up there, and then fly back to drive my dog back to Colorado. I've just thrown far at a lot of different phases in my life, including now at 38 years old with different training. Like, it's so fun to prove to myself that I know what I'm talking about, and that I can maybe transform that into understanding for other people. I want to coach coaches. We have a lot of fantastic throws coaches in the United States, but not a lot of fantastic javelin throws coaches. And the concepts are really similar, and now I 100% know that I can help people figure it out who are already great at shot-put and discus.
I don't know how deep you want to go into this, but what concepts are you perfecting, finding out about them?
The things I didn't do today, I can talk about.
Okay.
Yeah.
Sure.
I was pretty good at aggression down the runway, like using one of my legs. Like, the key for me is really ground contact, good use of both legs, power into the ground with both right and left. At the very end, at the impulse, the penultimate, some people say, I really have to be aggressive with my left leg, hold my left shoulder down, drive that right knee through in a way that doesn't push back onto the runway. I have to wait for the ground, and that's the part that I don't like. That's always been my downfall. So what happens there is your upper body tips forward, the tip goes up, or you just don't get as much length behind you as you could possibly, and you don't finish all the way through the path of the javelin. Javelin is like weightlifting. You're moving your body around the implement rather than moving the implement around your body. So that's the part, like when you pitch forward, you're moving the implement with you instead of staying